Let's discuss whether you need a manager in order to succeed in your racing career. Oh, sorry, before we get into this episode, on Friday, I did a live broadcast that a lot of you watched. Thank you. On how to win this beautiful gaming PC. But I won't cover it today because I want to keep the Race Driver Coach show all about tips for how you can improve your performance in your career, right? So talking about this doesn't really fit. So I'm going to do another video midweek and I'll show you how you can win this. Back to the show. G'day to all the race drivers. Thank you for joining and tuning in once again to the Race Driver Coach Show, where we talk about the things that really matter to race drivers and the people that just want to succeed. There's so many things that people can learn from race drivers, and it seems like this show is providing people that, whether they're flight attendants to the working in a bar and they want to start up a business, it's still the skills that race drivers need to perform and to succeed at their career. It just crosses every platform. It crosses every platform because human beings are all the same pretty much. And if they're trying to succeed something, the same recipe, the same skills, the same outlook, attributes that you need to succeed and get to F1 or whatever it is you want to achieve in racing, it's the same no matter what. It applies to everything. So thank you for all the people that are not even in motorsport but they're still watching this. It's a pleasure to have you and to serve you. So what have we done recently? Just got back. Guys, I woke up at 10:40 this morning. It's now, while I'm recording this, it's 12:30, but 10:40 in the morning. I can't remember the last time I did that because we got in from DTM with Liam Lawson at something like 1:30 in this morning, and it was a tough weekend. Things happen in race weekends that you just can't even like predict it. You say, right, we got the speed, so all we need to do now is bring it home, just qualify well and have a good race. On paper, that's what it looks like. But so many things happen. Politics, people get in the way. You have incidents. You have a bit of weather that throws a curveball, and decisions are made, and the car's not quick as it should be. So it makes you look bad. To get a really clean race weekend is so difficult, even if you are the quickest on the grid. And I think a lot of drivers know this. You go to a race weekend that you know you're going to do really well because you know the circuit and you're all set up and nicely, but you come away with 2 DNFs. It's not easy. We had one of them weekends when the potential was massive, but we didn't realize it. The driving was awesome, but there's a few things that happened that made it pretty average, to be fair. It was one of them weekends, and they're the tough ones, especially with Liam, because he is a fighter, he is feisty, so I always come away from them weekends absolutely drained because we give it everything. So yeah, a bit tired. But I'm back firing on all cylinders now. Done my normal priming. Or people, remember, you need to prime your days. Don't just wake up, roll out of bed, check in your messages and fall into life. Wake yourself up, especially on a Monday morning when you know you've got a busy week and you've got a busy day. You make sure that you prime and you spend 5, 10, 15 minutes getting this right, the mind, focusing in and being energetic so you can attack the day and your to-do list. Really important. Not what this video is about, but spend that first phase of the day getting into the right mindset, waking up the body, a bit of exercise so you can thrust yourself into the day that you're just about to have, which is what I'm doing now. And this video helps as well. It's like, right, I've got to get ready for a video. I've got to serve the community. So anything that's greater than yourself as well, if there's a bigger force, family, career is big, put that at the forefront of your mind while you're priming yourself and get ready for battle. So that's what I've done so far. But to come back to you guys, managers. This is a question from Rob. Do I need a manager to help me in my career? Is it worth the money? Another absolutely fantastic question. And it's a fantastic question because it's got about 6 different answers to it. Really, it's yes or no. But it depends on you as the driver, what you need, what skills you've got, where you are, what your career looks like, and what goals you've got. But if I could just tell you first what a manager does, what a manager is supposed to do for a race driver. This is a person that you employ. You pay them like 30, 40, 50,000 pounds, dollars a year, whatever they charge. And they're employed to make sure that you get the best race seat that you can, that you're promoted through the industry. They look after the day-to-day runnings of the career. So say if you've got a sponsor meeting coming up or a sponsor gig, they help you organize it. They basically do all they can to help you, to showcase you and help you have the career. So then really all you need to do is get in that car or on that bike and you perform. And then they do the rest. They might help you with putting together a sponsorship package. Most managers don't actively go out and look for sponsorship for you, because that is a full-time job. And if they've got like more than one driver, it's just impossible to fit it in, because you have to be hammering the phones and speaking to people all the time. Sometimes managers do, but it's very hard for them to do that and to manage your career and the other drivers. So I wouldn't expect a manager to go out and find sponsorship for you, because at the end of the day, selling sponsorship's a hard sell. It really is, and it takes a lot of work. So normally it's the career. I'm going to position, if I'm a manager, right, which I have helped drivers, I have managed drivers, and I work with WH Sports, who are a management firm. If you manage a driver, you say, okay, I've got this driver, they are this fast, they've got these skills, they got this trajectory career-wise. This is what they want to achieve. Now it's my job as a manager to put them in the right championships, to make sure they're in a team that is capable of helping them win if they've got the cash to go to a top team. And not only that, I've got to make sure that they've got the good car, preferably the best car in that team, because there's always a difference in the cars. You can't help it. Maybe it's the champion's car from last year. Make sure I can get them in that car, or at least a good one that's capable of doing the same lap time. Good engine, the engineer themselves. I want one that actually gets on with my driver, I think will help my driver grow. So really they're in an area or an environment that will help them get the best results possible. And as a manager, I've got to put all this together. And not only that, I've got to get it at a good price. Because what happens is your dad calls up, or you call up a team, you ask, what is the budget? How much are you going to charge to run me an F4? And if it's just a driver direct with not amazing results, pretty good results, good reputation, but not setting the world alight with their world championship trophy and all this, it's just a driver that wants to drive. Or if it's a dad calling up, you're just going to get the market price, the top end. They'll start you, okay, it's going to be 400,000. Take it or leave it. And that's the kind of respect that you get from a race team normally, because they get so many calls from drivers. Most of them are not serious. Most of them can't afford it. So they just say, right, here's the package, blah, 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 take it or leave it. But when you've got a manager, most likely that manager has got has got a relationship with the race teams already. So call the race team up, the best race team or the best race teams in that championship, and say, right, I've got this driver, this is their name, this is what they've accomplished, what's the best you can do? And they'll say, right, it's 400 grand, they'll start at the same price. Then the manager has got a job and a task to bring that budget down. It's like, right, do me a deal here, for crying out loud. This driver is a good payer. They always pay up front, or should I say on time when it's in installments. They're not going to mess you about. The dad is easy to get on with. He's not going to be crashing in and shouting at the team. And they are the type of people that you want in the team. And he'll sell that driver, or she'll sell that driver to bring the price down. Also, they'll think of ways like, we don't need 50 test days. This driver only needs 25 test days. Maybe we can save on tires. Just do me a deal and help me out. And because I'm a manager and I have other drivers, I can bring other drivers to you in the future. So if you look after me now, race team, I'll look after you. As long as you're providing us with a very good service and I'm not ripping anybody off, I'll bring my next driver to you as well, or at least introduce you. Because it's down to the driver really that chooses the team in the end. The manager just puts up all these packages saying, right, you can go this team for this price. I've worked my tail off to get the price down to this, or you can go to this team with this price, and he just gives options to a driver. That's what a manager does, right? So the manager goes in, gets a deal. The race team knows that manager can bring other drivers in the future. So, okay, I'll knock another 20 off because it's you. This is what a good manager can do, right? So they will sell you. They will get you the best deal. And actually, put it this way, if you're paying 400 grand for an F4 seat, let's say 300, 400 is a bit high, and the manager costs you 40k, 50k, yet the manager has managed to get you about 35k off what you would get if you called them, already you paid for the manager virtually. Not only are they going to be there helping you throughout the year, making sure that things go well, making sure that they look after your sponsors and your social media, they help you with all that. So all the other services that a manager gives you, you're paying for that. But if you've covered it mostly already because of the money they're saving you on the budget that you would have paid the team, they've nearly paid for themselves. Then it's a no-brainer if they're good. It's a no-brainer. And the big thing there was that I just said is if the manager is good. So yes, I would say managers are great to have, but they need to be good. They can't be just this person who says, I'll bring you the world, and they don't do the work. Or they're cheap as chips, they only cost about 15, 20k a year, but they're not really helping me. They're not really calling up all the teams. They haven't got the relationships or the network in motorsport that they promised they have. They told me they had when I was signing up with them. They're absolutely full of crap. There's plenty of them. So you have to make sure that you get somebody helping you that has got a track record. Okay, that's not completely true. You might be their first driver, but they're really good, but you can figure that out. But if it's somebody who's saying they've done all these things, make sure they have. Speak to their current clients, their other drivers. Speak to their ex-drivers that they used to work for. And just, do your own research first. Even speak to race teams. What do you think of this manager? Is he any good? Is she any good? And just talk to people in the industry. Or, you can do research, like I say, and talk to old drivers. So do your homework first. Make sure they're not going to rip you off. Because I remember I had managers, right, helping me, but I didn't pay them because I was up front and I said, I can't pay you. I haven't got the money. But honestly, as soon as I earn money, you're going to get 20% of whatever I earn. And as soon as I do get anything, I'll just throw you some money. I'll always pay for your expenses to get you to the track and things like this. And a lot of managers, pretty much all of them, said no, of course, because when you take on a driver, it's a lot of work. So you want to be paid for it because you've got to pay your own bills as a manager, right? It's normal because it's your job. So you're not going to do it for free. But now and then you get one that actually does say, okay, I'll help you out. And then you're only going to get a little bit of help from them because they're doing you on the side sort of thing. They're helping you on the side, but that might be the way to start. So call up all the managers you can, say, I really haven't got the budget to pay you at the moment, but if you do save us on budget, I'll pay you half of that money. So if they save you 25k on what you would have paid, and you give them all or half of that money, that's a good win-win, right? They've saved you money, you're paying them, everybody's happy. So there's ways of doing it, but essentially they are there to get you through the door, to give you options, and to make sure that you're looked after. That's big, right? So not only do they start the season by saying, these are the options for you, I've managed to get the prices down and give you everything you need there just to choose, and you can call them up and say yes or no, but they put fires out throughout the season. So say if your engine's down, they're the ones that bust the balls of the team. Say, look, we can prove it on the data. His engine's down. Get us an engine, please, or now. They make sure that if something happens that's kind of against the contract, the team are being a bit naughty, or something happens in the championship, an event is cancelled. So the managers then got to have the awkward discussion with the team saying, right, we paid for 9 races. Now COVID's messed things up. We're only getting 6 races. We want a refund, or we want some money back, or you got to give us some testing or something. It's up to the manager to have that awkward conversation. So again, the driver can just be there to perform. The family can just be there and not getting involved with the team and everybody falling out. The manager's there to say, right, this is what we paid for. We're not getting this. Can you make sure that we're either credited or we get something else in return? So all the awkward conversations that happen throughout a race season, that's down to the manager as well. So in essence, yes, get a manager, because not only are they doing all these things for your career, they're the ones that are calling all the teams in the next formula or the next championship to get a deal there. So it gets to like August, September time in the season, if that's the normal season time, duration, they're now calling other people to open up other doors. So they're actively working for you to further your career. And there's quite a few managers out there. So again, do your research, call around to their, if you want to do your research, and call around to their ex clients or current clients and say, what are they like, blah, blah, blah. And if it's good things, then you're okay. Now and then you get an ex client that's disgruntled and they say, no, they ripped me off. So don't take everything they say, because sometimes it didn't happen the way they saw it. It was other things that were in the situation that made it look bad. So the manager looked bad and he or she took the hit. I don't know. So yeah, it's like a TripAdvisor. When you see on a hotel and it's got great reviews and then there's one really peed off customer saying it was the worst hotel ever, just be careful. Make sure you do a bit more research of that. So was it really just that one off, or was it because COVID, the swimming pool was shut, so they're a bit disgruntled? So, but still, do a bit of research. But yeah, I would say managers are great because it's hard to get a career, right? It's really difficult for you to concentrate on your performance and to try and look for sponsors, which you've got to do anyway, but then manage the sponsors, which is more the manager, and open up doors and talk to people in the industry. To do all that while you're at school or while you've got a job, it's pretty much not going to happen, is it? It's going to be half-ass. So if you've got someone actively even spending 1 hour, 2 hours a day on your career, when you're not there, when you're asleep, when you're at work, or when you're at school, it's going to help. And you have a daily, sometimes it's daily, depends what's happening. You have a weekly meeting with them on Zoom or on the phone. You know, what have we done this week, or what are we going to do this week? Who are you going to call? Who am I going to call? And then it becomes your partner. You're both fighting to create a career for yourself. I see so many people, and I'm doing this book now on helping parents navigate through sport, through motorsport, because you go in as a parent and as a driver and you don't really know the industry, you just get ripped off. You end up overpaying. You end up paying more than your teammates. And it's not long before you get the crap car. You get the engineer who's a trainee. You've never done it really before. You get the mechanic who's also a trainee. Things happen on your car that don't happen on the other car, and you haven't got a foot to stand on, and you're paying more. That is what situation you don't want to be in. And that's what a good manager saves you from doing. So yes, Rob, this is something that I would say is definitely worth looking into. If you're taking your career seriously and you've got budget, a manager can help take away most of the headaches if they're a good one. So get a good one. If not, you've just got to work your tail off. You can do all this on your own, remember. You don't absolutely need one, but it's just hard work, and it's easier to get someone else to help you and do it, and talking to people and use their connections and networks. So yeah, it depends. I'm sorry, it's not a yes or no question, but if I was starting again, I would put more emphasis on getting a manager to help me, because I thought I could do it all myself. And I had like 3 different managers throughout the years. And you know, some were good, some were just didn't have the time. And one of them, actually a 4th one, I paid and they completely ripped me off. They did a sponsorship proposal. They said, we're going to find you sponsors, don't worry. And I paid, I think it was a couple of grand or something for this proposal. And it had the wrong driver's name in it, even to start with, someone else's name. So I knew that they were selling this package to other drivers, and they left the name in of the other driver. And I was like, dude, you're not even doing this for me. This is just a templated one. And I basically paid 2 grand for a template. Thanks. So you can get ripped off. But you'll know when you meet them. You look in their eyes. You speak to their clients if they're any good and what they promise. If they promise to like get you a drive that's cheaper than if you were to call up yourself, and they're virtually paid for already just by what they've saved you, I can't see a problem. So yeah, managers are good, but get a good one.